back, everyone, to Common Sense Choices, and I'm Linda Toupin live. This is our second week to go live, and I am streaming into all my Facebook pages and also to some private groups, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. You guys, sorry I'm a couple of minutes late. Sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't. Well, I'm going to wait till everyone gathers here for just a second because this is a very interactive podcast. In fact, tonight I've actually designed what I'm going to talk about based on your comments last time. So go ahead if you're watching live and tell me where you're from. Where are you watching from tonight? And if this is your very first episode of Common Sense Choices. Well, Common Sense Choices is based on the mantra, I am where I am by the choices I've made or I've allowed others to make for me. I am where I am by the choices I've made or I've allowed others to make for me. And that's actually on a 7-foot piece of art in my living room. Normally you all are seeing my living room, but tonight I am recording in my office. And so if this is your very first episode, pull up a chair and join the conversation. We love to have you. And again, let me know this is your very first episode. I'm going to just make sure I'm live. I'm looking at my phone right now. So give me just a minute here as we do this. Okay, we are live. This is awesome. And if it is your 39th episode, thank you so much. It is because of people like you that our podcast has been so successful. And last time we had a record number of views because I went live. So feel free to comment and share. You can share while it is playing live to your Facebook groups and also to your pages as well. So share away. Tonight's topic is called building confidence. So it doesn't matter whether you own a business or not, this topic is for you. Well, before we get started, I want to direct your attention to the fact that God has gifted you 168 hours this week. That's right. There are 4 work weeks inside every week. I know some people think there's only like 45 hours in a week. There's really 168. After you work 40 and after you sleep 8 hours a night, you have 72 hours to do with any way you want. What we spend our time doing, and that's 10,800 minutes, just in case you want to know, is what we get out of this gift that God has given us called life. And so I take it very serious that you spend time listening. Perhaps you're driving right now and you're listening, or you're cooking supper or doing dishes, or you're working in your yard and you're listening or you're watching. I take that very seriously because my prayer before I start is that any words that are spoken here, because words are the most powerful weapon on earth for good or for evil, that the words spoken here will edify you, lift you, encourage you, or perhaps challenge you. Well, our podcast has a house. Now we're on Apple and we're on Spotify and we're on YouTube, all under Common Sense Choices, and obviously we're here on Facebook. But my podcast lives, it has a house at Linda Toupin. That's T as in Tom, O-U, P as in Peter, I-N, LindaToupin.com. Over there you'll find all the episodes and you will find my new boutique. Yes, I have a boutique. Doesn't that sound real fancy dancy? It takes our mantra and it puts it on special items. And in fact, the word choices has been part of my mantra for over 30 years. And when you place an order at my boutique at LindaToupin.com, you literally get the history of choices. How I just innocently sat down, recorded a recording about the choices we make, the milking the cow mentality, and what does it truly take to be successful in life. And all of a sudden, it goes viral before there was internet. Over 2 million people listened to it on cassette and CD, and another 1 to 2 million on downloads. So you get the whole history of where choices actually came from. But over at my boutique, I've got some gorgeous new things. First of all, we have beautiful cosmetic bags for spring. These are lightweight canvas. They're heavy duty zipper, but lightweight. And everything you purchase over there comes already gift wrapped. So you can use it as a gift or prizes. And it'll come in a, I think I called this the other day velour. I was a home ec teacher. I should know this is not velour. This is organza. Anyway, and then you're going to learn about each item, who teamed up with me what American entrepreneur teamed up with me to make these items, because I want to feature all the people that benefit from your purchase. Not only are you supporting my podcast, you're supporting another American entrepreneur. And you know, we just like to keep our businesses supporting each other in America. Would you not agree? Those little cosmetic bags are $10. And we also have note cards with the mantra, I am where I am by the choices I've made or allowed others to wait for me. Look at Kathy. Kathy got her gifts. Yay, Kathy. Kathy, I am literally physically touching everything that goes out of my office, and you get a handwritten note from me when you make the purchase. These went like hotcakes last week. So you can buy them in bundles of 25 or 50. We, of course, have our standard coffee mug. Go look in your kitchen cabinet. Is this mantra in front of you? And then we have our money bag or accessory bag in rose gold or white. And this is large enough to hold sales tickets, everybody. And our most popular item is on my trophy shelf, and it's probably in your office, your classroom, your therapist's office, or your children's bedroom with our mantra on it. This is our most popular item over there. Again, everything comes gift wrapped, and you will get the story of how choices came to be. Well, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Hey, everybody, good to see your comments as you're coming in here. But feel free to ask questions or comment. I was raised Southern Baptist, so even amen on a few comments is all right as well. Well, last week we started with the topic, everybody sells and recruits. And here's what we learned last week, that people love to buy, but they hate to be sold. All right, nobody in the history of mankind ever hated buying, but they hate to be sold something. Recruiting is the highest form of flattery. Everybody who's anybody in the world, from the president to all the sports teams, to your little league, to your schools, people recruit. And, you know, if you've got a child playing sports, you're praying a recruiter comes to see them. So everybody, even if you live in the mountains by yourself and you never see another human, you sell and recruit every time you think a thought and you buy your own thought. The most natural thing in the world is to sell and to recruit, and to make it effective, to be better at selling and recruiting, whether it's a charitable organization, your direct sales company, or your own business, or just your ideas to your spouse. That most effective method is organic, and we're going to spend a lot of time talking about that. And last week, if you missed the episode, I gave you some tips on choosing the best direct sales in-home business. So that was last week's episode. This week's episode is how to build confidence. I had several people in the comment section said, you know, I need to overcome my shyness, or I just need to build confidence in what I'm doing. How do you build confidence? So, confidence, I want you to tattoo this somewhere on your body or put it on a big sign. Maybe I'll get a coffee mug and a canvas print and I'll put this on it. It's the simple fact that confidence comes from doing. So let me repeat that to you. Confidence comes from doing. Okay? I'm not a very good swimmer. Okay? I kind of dog paddle. I don't like water in my ears, so I don't like to put my head in the water. And so it's kind of it's kind of embarrassing. It's kind of awkward. How would I get better at swimming? Confidence comes from doing. I have to do it over and over again until I'm better at it. Some of you are really good typing and texting. You're super fast. I just bought a new iPhone. Look at this. I got a new iPhone this week. That guy who sold it to me, oh my gosh, he flew through all of that stuff. He was incredibly confident in working with the technology as he was showing me various things. And I was like, dude, you need to be working somewhere other than Apple, okay? Because you are really, really good. I love people who write cursive, and they do it beautifully. I work at it. I try really hard, but in order for me to get better with my cursive, I have to practice more. Some of you are really good at gardening. Some of you just need to practice more. Some of you are very good with sewing. Some of you need to practice more. So confidence, when we're talking about anything in the world that involves confidence, it comes from doing. So what we're really talking about with me is your people skills. In order to be successful at selling your idea to your spouse, or recruiting people for your church or your charity or your business, or selling people, that is really your people skills. So we're going to focus strictly on confidence in building people skills. Someone last week said, I'm just very shy. And, that took a lot of courage for that person to type that out there in the public, because being shy doesn't serve you well. And it doesn't serve you well. And we could get into all the reasons people are not confident, and we don't have time for all of that tonight, because tonight's very hands-on, and I want to give you some very specific things that you can do to build your confidence in any area of your life. But I thank you for your transparency in your comments, because it really does help me. The first thing I would like to share with you tonight is that you are a product of the 5 people with whom you've spent the most time. Now, this has shifted as you've gotten older, because as children, I am where I am by the choices I've made or allowed others to make for me. Well, as a child, you don't have a choice. You are a product of who your parents allowed in your space, who raised you, what were their messaging, what did they allow you to watch and listen to and read, and what did they, who did they allow in your head, okay? And you can't do anything about that except embrace that after the fact, or work to get rid of those messages, okay? But as you got older, it really was, I am where I am by the choices I've made or allowed others to make for me. You choose your friends, and you choose your family, and you choose to continue in a situation that may or may not be healthy at work, etc. So we are a product of the 5 people with whom we spend the most time. Now, to give you a good example of what I mean by this, hang on a minute, I want to turn something up here just a second. Okay, I am very susceptible, is that the word I'm looking for, to other people when I'm around them. If you cuss, like, I cuss, and I'm like, I don't by nature cuss, but if I'm around someone who cusses, I start cussing. If I go up to Wisconsin to hang out with people in Wisconsin, and Michigan, I end up talking through my nose, because people from Wisconsin kind of talk through their nose. And so I end up talking through my nose, okay? And then if I go down south, or I go down home, then I come back and I'm like, all right, children, here's what we're going to do tonight during this podcast, okay? I'm very susceptible to how you talk. I'm very susceptible, and I don't think I'm that unusual. I believe that you are as well. So that's why you have to guard who you allow in your space. So we know that you have become the way you are by your parents, your guardians, your relatives, your teachers, your spouse. And sometimes it's frightening when I say to people get scared when I say you become like the 5 people you hang out with, and most of them are at your job. Because most people actually spend more time at their job with people than they actually do with their family or by choice. And that is something you really need to take a hard look at. Like, first of all, if that is not the best world for you, then why are you there? Nobody's got a gun to your head, okay? Nobody's forcing you to do that. So you really want to think about, why am I continuing to work in a very hostile, toxic, negative environment? Why am I not making other choices to get myself out of that? But it's not just people, you guys. In our day and time, a lot of it is who you are choosing to follow. That is my daughter's dog. Okay, let's hope he does not bark during this entire podcast. Last time he did. And like, they had to put a filter on this when they edited it. Hang on a minute. We're going to close this door. Okay, we'll try that. Okay, this is what happens when you do live. So anyway, what was I talking about? So in our time, a lot of who you allow in your head and who you're surrounding yourself with is who you follow and what you choose to read. Now, I'm sure it is no surprise to anybody who knows me that during COVID, there was a lot of stuff out there in the world. And 99.9% of it was very, very negative. And pretty much everybody I know was alarmed by what they were seeing and they were reading. And it was really easy to go down rabbit holes and like, whoa, you could spend hours. And then it started affecting people's, like the way they thought. You know, I've said it repeatedly since COVID ended, you know, there will be people who never recover from all that because they were so sucked into the mentality of all that we had to go through. And so just in general though, if I was your coach and you were saying to me, I want to be more confident, I would want to see your feed, your Facebook feed, your Instagram feed, and your Twitter feed. I want to see it because a lot of who you are you following people who breathe life into you? Now, I'm not talking about everybody's Pollyanna-ish and everybody's happy all the time because that's an illusion and that's a facade and that's not true. But if everything you're following, the world is ending, I'm sure 200 years ago, if they had had Twitter, the world was ending. If they had had Facebook 300 years ago, the world was ending. The world is always ending, okay? And so I'm not saying you shouldn't be alert to things that are happening in our society, but guys, this stuff has always gone on. You just didn't know about it. Okay, that's neither here nor there. But again, if I was your personal coach and you said, Linda, I want to be more confident, the first thing I would do is see who you're following. Then I would see what music you listen to, what TV shows you watch, what movies you watch, and what books you read. Now, I don't just read positive, uplifting things. There's things that I watch that sometimes are scary or that are like dramatic or whatever, but I have to temper that because I'm going to teach you something called the P principle in a minute. I have to actually sandwich that between other things. Now, when you were about 12 or 13 years old, your parents gave you a speech, and it sounded something like this: don't hang out with them kids. They are a bad influence. All right? Parents inherently know that kids are very impressionable, and if you allow your children to hang out with kids who are already getting in trouble, they cuss, or maybe they use drugs, or they're into things that you don't want your children to be into, well, they're going to become like the people they hang out with. Now, that rule was true when you were 13 and 14. Newsflash, if you're 43 or 63 or 83, the rule still applies. Okay? You cannot hang out with people who are negative or are energy draining and think you're going to be a positive person. It will not work that way. Have you ever been around people and here's their language? I'm so old, I'm so broke, I'm so tired, I'm so fat. The first thing I want to do, honestly, when I hear people say that, it feels like there's poison coming into my body. I want to like grab them by the shoulders and smack them and go, you're putting that out there in the world, guys. You're putting that out there in the world. What do you think is going to come back? What you put out comes back tenfold. Now, it's also not healthy to say, oh, I am healthy and trim and whatever when I really need to lose 50 pounds, okay? But we don't stand around and say, I'm old, I'm tired, I'm broke, I'm fat. I'm in the process of improving my health, okay? I am in the process of developing discipline, okay? There's a lot of things that you can say other than those things. So what if there are people in your space, maybe it's at work, maybe it's at home, maybe it's in your world, and you can't escape it, okay? You literally can't. You can't leave the job. You can't get a divorce. I mean, you can't whatever. It's not like in the cards. How do you learn to live with negativity coming from other sources? This is what I call the P principle. It's been in many of my speeches. In fact, I just spoke to the Missouri City Clerks Convention in Columbia, Missouri, and I told them the P principle. So the P principle is like this. All of you probably have seen a diaper at some point in your life that's full of pee. Yeah, this is the P principle, P-E-E. And so if you can imagine a little toddler walking around with a loaded diaper that's full of pee, not a single person watching this would ever consider wringing that out and drinking that, unless you were dying of thirst and this or something. You would never ever consider that, because that's just gross and toxic and awful. Okay? Also watching are people who have given small children baths. So you go through all this trouble, you run the bathtub full of water, you put your bubbles in, you get your kids in there, you got 2 or 3 kids in the bathtub, and you're getting them undressed, and you get them in, and I mean not 2 minutes after they're in, one of them goes, "He peed in the bathtub." Okay, so you have a choice as a parent. Do you drain the water, rinse them off, get them out, put them back in, or you just kind of pretend you didn't hear that and just think, okay, we'll just move right on? All right. Now, also watching right now are people who go to a swimming pool, any swimming pool, your swimming pool, public swimming pool, country club swimming pools. Now, you know darn good and well that day multiple children have peed in that swimming pool. But you dive in. You put your face in it. You'll even let some of that water go in your mouth. Okay? Except Linda Toupin, who doesn't get her ears wet. So what's the difference? It's diluted. The pee, the toxin, is diluted. Okay? So from the diaper to the bathtub, there's some dilution. To the swimming pool, there's a lot of dilution. Okay? So when you think about negative people and how do you live with them, you have to dilute them. Meaning, if you have to spend time with somebody, as soon as you're away from them, you hit play on a download or a podcast or your favorite music. You don't get in the car from being with a negative environment. So something awful happened at work. You've got this difficult person at work, or this difficult customer, or this difficult recruit. There's somebody difficult in your life. Don't rehash it, because now we're just making the crease in the piece of paper in your brain deeper, and you're just rehashing it all the way home, and it's making you more and more upset. You do exactly the opposite. You dilute what you just heard. So you get in, you turn on music. If it's warm, you roll down your windows, you sing along with the music, or you put on your favorite podcast, or whatever it is that you listen to, because you've got to take that toxicity and you have to dilute it. I promise you, you guys, this works. I promise you it works. We all have that. We all have those people that take us to the edge of sanity, and we think, I can't deal with this person anymore. But the moment you're away from them, or if you have to be in the same house with them, there's a thing called earbuds, okay? Earbuds, okay? There's things you can put in your ear, and you can listen to something else. Maybe someone in your house just insists on having the TV on all the time, which would make me absolutely crazy. Okay, because you all know I got rid of cable in 2008, and I have not looked back. Now, that doesn't mean I don't watch movies or I don't see sports programs, but I don't listen to all that nonsense. That's just a lot of nonsense. And I, just off the record, you guys, if you watch a lot of TV, I bet you don't even notice commercials and what they sell you. They sell you on being unbelievably unhealthy. Like, pharmaceuticals must absolutely own every television station, because that's 90% of what you see. But I think people have gotten so accustomed to it, and somebody like myself who never sees that stuff is like, why, is everybody around here sick? Anyway, okay, but same thing holds true. You might just need some earbuds. You might just need to put some different messaging in. So I'm going to give you some recommendations tonight, some things that you can work on this week before next week's episode. First of all, I need to give a shout out to our sponsors, just real quick. Curtis.pink. Everybody write that down, Curtis.pink. This week he just posted, he had a gal who was getting really unstable Zooms, unstable Facebook Lives, and he like tripled her internet speed in a matter of minutes because he came into her computer and showed her what was wrong. This week, I had to call Curtis and say, Curtis, okay, they gave me a new phone and now this part isn't working. He can come into your phone and he can show you what to do. He's like your best friend. Curtis.pink. He won't even charge you for the first 10 minutes. And so when you fill out the form and make an appointment, remember my name. Okay, remember my name and remember my face. Okay, so here are my recommendations for you as far as reading materials, or if you do Audible or Audible books. I'm going to take you from ground zero. I'm going to assume you really have never surrounded yourself with lots of positivity. So these are things that feed Linda Toupin's brain, and from 40 years ago. Classic, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Can't imagine if anybody out there has not read it, listen to it. If it's been a few years, listen again. Dennis Waitley, Seeds of Greatness, the 10 best kept secrets of total success. These are all like baseline, you guys. This is like the beginner's 101, like how to be positive. Zig Ziglar raised me. See you at the top. Before I started my direct sales career, I taught a Zig Ziglar class to 8th graders to teach them how to be positive and to be the very, very best. See you at the top with Zig Ziglar. And then, of course, Mary Kay Ash is just one of the most remarkable women that you could ever listen to. And her book on people management is just, again, baseline zero. This is kind of where you start. So I would encourage you to check those 4 books or audios out and begin to play them as you are beginning to work, go back and forth to work, etc. And then the last thing I want to do, a couple of quick things here. The last thing I want to do with you guys is I want to teach you affirmations. All right, so again, this is baseline zero stuff that we're starting with. Affirmations are things that you say to yourself over and over again. And in my organization, we develop these, and I will actually post them in here on all the platforms and give you a link so you can print it out or you can make your own. And it's based on 4 colors. And the 4 affirmations are based on when you see blue, such as the blue sky out my window, the blue pillows on my front porch. My mind immediately says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. All right? Because for 30 years, that's what the color blue means to Linda Toupin. You can also take stickers, little round stickers, and you can put them around your house, on your mirror, your visor, in your car. You can put them on your desk, any place that you're constantly seeing things. So you train your mind. Again, it's all mind control. I actually had a woman say to me early in my sales career, I was going to my weekly sales meeting, and she goes, they're just trying to brainwash you. And at first of all, it ticked me off. Then it made me mad. And then it kind of made me sad. And I thought, as I was driving to my sales meeting that night, I wonder what she's going to do that brainwashes her. She's going to turn on a television, and that is the ultimate programming. That's why it's called programming, okay? So she's going to be sold something on an ad, probably a pharmaceutical, that's telling her how sick she is, and then she's going to believe she's sick because it's constantly telling you that she's sick. Okay, don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Okay, I can do all things. Red is I'm a people magnet. Everybody should be a people magnet. If you want to have people skills, you need to be a people magnet. People love to be with me. All right? So red, anytime I see a red stop sign, my brain immediately goes, people love me. People love me. They want to be with me. I am a people magnet. The green one is I create wealth for my family. I create wealth. Quit saying, oh, we're just getting by. I'm just making a little money. What you give out is what you get back. I create wealth. I create wealth for my family. Anything that's green. The green grass, the green trees, anything that's green. My mind says I create wealth for my family. And the last one is yellow. And it is only good things happen to me and those I love. Now, I've been in the depths of despair. Horrible things happen to me and my family. But I would literally cry myself to sleep holding a pillow, saying the words, only good things happen to me and those I love. Because I refuse to bend to the evil. So I'll post these for you. So this is kind of part of your homework until next week, is check out a good positive book. If you've got a good positive book in here, go ahead and put it in the comment section. One that you would recommend that teaches you how to think properly and to build confidence in yourself, and then work on your own affirmations. You can use mine or use others. So as I close out tonight, I want to thank you for your support of my podcast with your purchase over at lindatoupin.com. I am getting ready to be gone for 2 weeks, and if there are things you need to receive by early May in the boutique, you need to order them by next Wednesday, which would be, and I know some of you are listening to this recording after the fact, but whenever next Wednesday is, that would be like the 26th, I think. I can get it to you in a matter of days. Usually it only takes me a day or two to ship it out, but if you wait any longer than that, it's going to be at the end of May. So check out all the cute stuff I've got in my store. And remember, it comes gift wrapped. And last but not least, my favorite sponsor is my integrative doctor. I'm bringing you my doctor, drlenaedwards.com. She's also here on Facebook. Go ahead and join her group right now if you aren't in there. From barely surviving to absolutely thriving. I can't imagine you're not in that group. From barely surviving to absolutely thriving. And she has a wonderful product called AdrenaFem, AdrenaFem.com. AdrenaFem.com. Your first bottle, you'll get $5 off with the promo code Gift for Me. You guys, I love all of your, some of you are on your 22nd bottle because all of yours is different. Some people it affects their sex drive. Some it helps them with hot flashes. For me, it helps my quality of sleep. And it also gives me a burst of energy and clarity of thought. Those are the things that affects me. But you can go over there, check out all the herbs and ingredients that are in it, adrenafem.com. Those are our sponsors. You guys have been awesome. Thank you for all your comments. I'll look at your comments before I plan next week's episode. And thank you for watching episode number 39 of Common Sense Choices.